Planet X TV.
This week on Planet X, it's the Costa Film Festival. Let's take a look.
This week, we are featuring 4 action-packed films from the Costa Film Festival.
Only here on Planet X.
What's happening, Planet X? Let's go ahead and take a look at the first world's downhill skateboarding competition, Signal Hill Speedrun, right here on Planet X.
Yeah, well, my name is Mike, and I'm one of the filmmakers for the Signal Hill Speedrun, and that was the world's first downhill skateboard race, which was 1975, and it ran annually till 1978 in Signal Hill, California, which is right in the middle of Long Beach. About the film? Yeah, go ahead. Okay, great. So, this race, they called it sort of a party on wheels. Now, the first year, only 2 people turned up because it was originally done for the Guinness Book of World Records TV show, which was hosted by David Frost, and they called around. They said, we want to have a skateboard race, and it was pretty disorganized. 2 guys turned up. 1 guy fell down, broke some bones, and the other guy made it down and survived. And the next year, everyone said, wait a second, I didn't know about this race. So every year it grew. The crowd grew, and by the end it had 5,000-6,000 people there watching. They invented a whole new type of skateboard called a skate car. And a skate car was basically like a small enclosed vehicle, but you weren't allowed to have a steering wheel. Originally it had a really poor braking system. In fact, sometimes they almost didn't have a braking system and no way to stop. Eventually they had to put parachutes in them. And so they branched off, and then they would have a skate car competition, which were basically like luges. Luge was invented at this hill, and I should say street luge. They took it from the original ice luge. And they had a women's division. They had the men's stand-up division, where people would go down traditional skateboard style, and then also the skate car modified. So it grew into this giant event. The only thing that didn't really keep up with everything else was the safety for the event. So the last year there were so many crashes that they didn't have enough ambulances in the city to have an ambulance on standby. So they literally had to hold up the race for, half hour, 45 minutes at a time, saying, let's wait for the people to take people to the hospital and come back. And by the way, some of those weren't racers. Those were actually audience members being taken away sometimes. Yeah, so it was quite a race, probably one of the world's most dangerous races also.
Starting in 1975, a ragtag group of surfers, skateboarders, hang gliders, and hot rod mechanics started meeting at a steep drop of roughly paved asphalt, appropriately named Hill Street.
They started calling us up. What can you give us? Well, I'll give you a speed run right off the bat, and Signal Hill, and that's the place.
Chasing a prize that wouldn't come close to covering medical expenses, they dropped over the steep precipice on primitive skateboards. Technology took over as teams created enclosed, streamlined gravity vehicles, skate cars.
I think the first inkling anybody had that the hay bales weren't going to work was when I went through them. It was just...
This is too dangerous. We got to shut this thing down.
Wow, this is a really messed up race. Hold on, we don't have enough ambulances in the city.
She's gone. She disappears.
It was the scariest thing I'd ever seen in my life.
Barriers were broken, records were broken, bones were broken.
Yeah, so the 1975 was the first year of this event, the Signal Hill race, and what you just said was that you remembered barrel jumping. And barrel jumping, actually that first year, they had 3 different events. They had high jumping and barrel jumping, and then they also had the downhill skateboard race. And those were all part of the same event. And I think Tony Alva, who's a pretty famous skateboarder, won, I think not the first year of the barrel jump, maybe the second year of the barrel jump. So I think he might have gone over 19 barrels, which is pretty amazing balance because they would jump off one skateboard and land on another. So, and the high jump was pretty cool too. In fact, I don't know really, people now ollie over, they do ollie contests, but I guess now it's referred to as hippie jump, which is where you'd be on a skateboard, you jump off over without your skateboard over sort of a high jumping stick and then land back on the same board. Our film, it's been a lot of years. It was based, I wrote an article for the LA Times called Bored Out of Their Minds about this race. And so a friend and I went ahead and said, we want to make a whole feature-length documentary about it. And we were really lucky. We have Ben Harper, who's a musician, a Grammy award-winning musician. He's our narrator for the film. And we got all sorts of great footage. And the best way to describe it would be sort of a downhill version of Dogtown, because it was really the same time period as the Dogtown and Z-Boys, and it's a lot of archival footage, except these guys weren't in pools. They were basically going down this giant hill up to 60 miles an hour with no brakes and no fences on the side for the audience members. So it was quite a spectacle.
I'm definitely not going to take that hill, but we'll be right back with some more Planet X.
Planet X TV.
What's happening, Planet X? Our next film is going to be all about saving the shark's world population. Let's go ahead and take a look at Extinction Soup.
Fantastic. My name is Philip Waller. I am the director of the film Extinction Soup. Our film talks about shark finning and shark fin soup. As far as, obviously they kill over 100 million sharks a year. And so for us to kind of bring this to the attention to the world is such a huge honor. And if anything, it was one of those things where we really just wanted to show just the honesty of what's happening. And I think that so few people in the world know what's going on. And it's a journey of seeing somebody like myself, who's from Hollywood, has no shark training in any which way, shape, or form, goes out and swims with huge tiger sharks. And I will absolutely be completely honest, I was freaked out when I first did it. But as time went on, you kind of just realize that it's not like Jaws, that these animals don't want to just come and eat you and tear you apart. It's one of those things that it's so incredibly humbling, especially when you're free diving and you're going down 80 feet, you're looking up, holding your breath, and you just see sharks all around and whales and dolphins. And, it just shows you how important the ocean not only is for humans, but just for the planet itself. So it was an absolutely huge, huge honor to be able to make this film. And hopefully when everybody sees it, they'll not only have an appreciation for sharks, but realize that they're not these evil, malicious creatures. And I think at the end of the day, that's definitely our goal.
Every year, an estimated 30 to 70 million sharks are killed to support a growing worldwide trade in their fins and other products.
Up to sort of the 1950s and 60s, the shark fin soup industry was pretty small, isolated to a few wealthy individuals. But then when we saw the rise of places like Hong Kong and Taiwan and Singapore, there was an increase in demand. But that increase in demand was absolutely dwarfed with the economic expansion of China. So now in China, from our surveys, it seemed like probably around 100 million people are eating shark fin soup in China alone. And so the scale and pace of the destruction of sharks has really gone up rapidly in the last 10 or so years.
I've been to ports in Japan where on a single day they landed 6,000 to 7,000 sharks. I've been in ports in Taiwan where a single boat has unloaded 10,000 fins off one trip. And when you consider the magnitude of these fleets that are fishing around the world, you quickly get an idea of the scale of this industry.
It's no different than killing an elephant for its tusk or dehorning a rhinoceros for its horn.
People enjoy it, they like it, they feel their nutrition value. Like I said, it's part of the culture, like something that you believe in.
Eating shark fin soup is about as cultural as foot binding of women.
From my point of view, we're not saving sharks, we're saving the ocean. When you're saving the ocean, you're saving mankind.
Now that we have found a way to actually make progress. We can't stop. We have to keep this wave going. This is momentum that we've never had before. And if we just stick together and keep plugging along, I think we really can stop shark fin soup.
I think the main thing is just get involved. Find out what your passion is, whether it's the ocean or the planet. Garbage Island, is another thing. Where there's plastic all around. I think just the more that we can get away from watching things like the Kardashians and actually start focusing on what's important. I think it's really, really great when you can be a part of something and you really see the difference. Like in our film Extinction Soup, we had a bill passed making it illegal to kill sharks in Hawaii, and that bill has now been passed in 15 different countries. And I can't even begin to tell you how inspiring it is to work with different political figures and different people that give of their lives, not for money or anything else, but to give back to the future generations and to make this world a better place.
Planet X TV. Planet X TV.
Our next film is going to be featuring extreme athlete Chuck Patterson. Let's go ahead and take a look right here on Planet X.
Hi, I'm Chuck Patterson from Maui and California, and I'm a professional athlete in skiing, snowboarding, stand-up paddling, windsurfing, kiting, and big wave surfing. And my new love is basically telling the story. And we have two films that now, this is the second year. We've started out with H2 Indo, which is a stand-up paddling movie, kind of explaining the evolution of the sport with 7 key athletes that have really driven the sport to where it is today. And today we are, or actually tomorrow we are previewing the H2 Mexico, which is the second round of this film, and it really kind of emulates or it kind of pushes the sport of stand-up paddling where it is today and how these athletes have really progressed, and really shows how the young athletes are really driving the sport and really just pushing the boundaries of where it's going and actually really making it cool for everybody to get into. And it's a feel-good movie, one of those movies that when you see it, you get to know the athlete and you really want to get in the water after the movie and get into stand-up paddling, and that's kind of, we're just trying to share the stoke with everybody.
It takes a lot to give your life to something that might not make you rich in terms of money, but makes you rich in terms of experience.
Today I wake, I hope and pray for better weather.
These guys are obsessed with those experiences.
And what tomorrow brings, I'm hoping it's good or better.
These guys would argue that experiences are worth a whole lot more than money.
The clouds up in the sky still collide, still be there tonight. And tomorrow's a gift. I hope you get, I hope you
You've grown up a little bit. Oh, the whole gang's here. He looks like the Grim Reaper back there. Take your hood off, Jamie. You're scaring me. You're scaring the kids.
These guys have dedicated their lives to this sport. They care about its future. They care about leading this sport in the right direction. They care about each other. But mostly they care about chasing the wave. Where is it? And how are they going to ride another one? This stand-up paddling adventure takes us to waves so remote, they probably have never been supped before.
can still keep up with these guys?
Geez, are you kidding?
You know, it's really cool living in Maui. A little bit different. You know, I grew up in California. You got the 9-to-5 grind. You got traffic, and everything moves at 100 miles an hour. And living in Maui, it's almost like time stands still a little bit. It's neat. I wake up early in the morning. The first thing I do is check the surf, go down the beach, get in the water, and it's all about a different importance. Work is there, but that's secondary. It's got to get on the water. Enjoy, watching the sunrise and chasing big surf, and then come back and kind of check into reality of, the internet and really getting into work, and then decide to get back on the water because it's windy and really good for kiting or the waves gotten bigger. So it's more about the lifestyle of being, on the ocean and outside all the time, and work becomes a little bit secondary, but it's still very important. So I end up not sleeping much and working more at night and playing all day.
Hey Chuck, you got to check out the super waves behind me here at the Inn at Sunset Cliffs. I'm Gavin Fleming with Planet X, and we'll be right back with some more of this.
Planet X TV. Planet X TV.
What's happening, Planet X? Let's go ahead and take a look at the essence of surfing with Dan Moore.
Hi, my name's Dan Moore. I live on the North Shore of Oahu in Hawaii. I've lived there for 40 years, and we came here to the Costa Film Festival as an invitee for our film, The Essence of Surfing. We were proud to show it yesterday and got a great response. It was a small venue. But they packed in probably 180 people, and just a terrific response to our film that we, as an independent filmmaker, you always love to get that feedback from the audience. You just never know, what the response is going to be to your film until you actually get it out there and you show it. So these venues are very important for small production companies like ourselves. As a producer, I recommend other producers, getting in touch with La Costa and, submitting your film and being part of it. I have to say this is one of the nicer venues that I've been part of. The driver with the black Mercedes all day yesterday just put a smile on my face. It's good stuff. I love it.
Any surfer can relate to being very appreciative of the lifestyle that it affords you. Whether you're a professional or just doing it for the love of it, I think it really enriches your life.
It doesn't matter how good you are. When you are surfing, you feel like $1 million. And it's still as addicting as it was the first day and my first memories of it.
Surfing's such a natural high that you don't need anything else. There's nothing that can really compare to that. For me, it never gets old. There's always something to work on. Your timing, your technique, your wave position, working on new maneuvers.
Surfing to me is, I guess it's my lifestyle, it's a hobby, it's a job, it's life.
I spent a lifetime chasing giant surf. My passion and my love for chasing giant surf has not stopped. It hasn't been slowed down really that much. I love surfing. It doesn't matter how big it is. I love it.
A great story about some very vintage footage. There was one of the original cinematographers on the North Shore between the years of 1957 and 1962. His name was Val Valentine, and he passed away, and his wife had a house right on the beach at Sunset Beach, and he left all of his vintage 16 millimeter negatives up in the attic. For 20 years, nobody found it, and then it was stumbled upon, and these guys, ended up with it, and we were fortunate enough to be able to view it. I wanted to purchase it, but it was just out of our budget. But we were able to use a small portion of it. We were able to go through it and pick out the best shots, and we ended up doing a monthly show. We have a monthly TV show out of Hawaii. It's called Soul Surfers, and we produce a show every month. It airs on Time Warner there in Hawaii. And so we did a show on a guy that has been passed for 30 years and using his footage. It was a challenge, but that was some of the oldest vintage footage that we had the pleasure of working with. And it was in bad shape. I mean, old 16 millimeter footage. It was all crackly, and but it depicted that era and those guys riding those vintage boards, and the waves were just amazing. So it was a good story.
Thanks, Dan. We'll be back with more action right after this.
Planet X TV. Planet X TV.
If you wish to appear on Planet X TV or to get more information, please email us at info@planetx.tv.
Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah.
Hey guys, we're going to wrap it up here at the Inn at Sunset Cliffs today. I'm Gavin Fleming with Planet X. We'll see you guys later.
When you're gonna give your love to me, like June and Johnny back in Tennessee, like Napoleon and Josephine. When you're gonna give your love to me. Like a movie on the silver screen. When you're gonna give your love to me. Reading ancient wisdom and philosophy.
Planet X is brought to you by Super Shuttle, the official transportation partner for Planet X TV. When you need a lift, think Super Shuttle.
Planet X is brought to you by the Inn at Sunset Cliffs, here in beautiful Ocean Beach, California. Here's the website. Check it, book it, use it, you'll love it.
Only here on Planet X.